Good morning, third grade artists. Wait, what if you guys are watching this in the afternoon? Good afternoon, third grade artists. Wait, what if it is morning? Blast, I've only started this video and I'm already messing it up. Well, art can be messy, so maybe messing up when teaching art is okay too. Let's hope so. Here, I'll start again. Hello, third grade artists. Yes, nailed it. Today we are going to use oil pastels to create a portrait. There was a famous artist named Modigliani. That's how you would say it with an Italian accent. If you were from Australia, it might sound like Modigliani. And if you were still in preschool, it would sound like Modiglidoody. Only kidding. Modigliani was a famous artist, and he was most famous for his portraits. He would draw faces with elongated, which is a fancy word for stretched, oval shapes, with long noses, long necks, and almond-shaped eyes. He was inspired by sculpture, so in a lot of his portraits, he didn't put in a lot of detail. Often, the eyes he drew would simply be plain gray or black. Today, you are going to do your version of a Modigliani portrait. You can draw yourself or somebody you know or somebody you completely make up. Let's get our workplace set up. Inside your art kit, you should have a folded up piece of brown paper. Take this out and spread it on your desk. Then take out the black piece of paper that is all by itself, the cardboard straight edge, and the baggie of oil pastels. Set your art kit down, and when it is okay with your teacher, get a pencil and a paper towel. Pause the video while you are gathering all of your supplies. Are you all set? Well done. Our first step is to sketch our portrait. We will use pencil for this, so leave your oil pastels alone for right now. I'm going to show you how to sketch on a white piece of paper so that you can see it on this video. You go ahead and start with your black paper. Since we are trying to create something in the style of Modigliani, we need to think about how much of the paper we use. Remember, we want elongated, stretched faces, necks, and noses. Make sure your paper is in portrait position. Let's start by dividing up our paper in a right and a left half. Put one side of your straight edge close to the middle of your paper. It doesn't have to be exactly the middle, just your best try at the middle. Make sure that your straight edge isn't all slanty, and then use your pencil to make a dotted line down the middle. Don't worry about how hard you make your pencil mark, because we are going to color over it. Just make sure that you can see it. Then do the same thing, making a top and bottom half. Pause the video. I'll wait. The lines that you drew divide your paper into 4 parts. We need to make 2 more lines to make 8 parts. Set your straight edge across your paper halfway down your top half and draw another dotted line. Watch me. Then do the same thing dividing the bottom half in 2. Now your paper has 8 parts. I may have done just a little math right here in the middle of an art lesson. Woohoo! Go math! When you're done, please place your straight edge back into your art kit. Pause the video if you need extra time. Are you good to go? Nice! Let's start with drawing the oval shape of a face. You'll want to save room for hair, so start your face oval about here and draw it down to the middle line. You'll want to make your oval on the skinny side, but not too skinny. You still need to fit eyes, a nose, and a mouth on the face. But don't draw those yet. Just draw your oval. Pause the video and I'll wait. Next, let's draw your necklines from the bottom part of the oval down to the next line. Remember, Modigliani's portraits had long necks. Then draw your shoulders down to the bottom. Pause the video and I'll wait. Hair is next on our list. Just draw the general outline of hair. My hair is long, so I'll draw it like this. I have bangs that cover my forehead, so I'll draw them. Here are some additional examples that you can choose from. Remember, just draw the outline of the hair, not each individual strand of hair. Pause the video and I'll wait. Now look around the room. Specifically look at everybody's eyes and how far they are from the top of our heads. They're kind of low, aren't they? They are just above the middle. So if we were making a realistic portrait, we would put the eyes about here. Modigliani didn't do this. He made his eyes much higher up. Remember, elongated faces. Do you recall what I said in the beginning about how Modigliani made his eyes? Yes, almond-shaped and without a lot of detail. So let's draw our almond-shaped eyes up here near the top of our oval. I'll let you decide how close or far apart they are and whether you want to draw pupils or irises. The smaller you draw your eyes, the harder it may be to color in irises, so you may want to leave the eyes without any detail if they're small, but it's completely your choice. Pause the video and I'll wait. I can't see them, but I'm sure your eyes are looking good. Get it? Looking good? I crack myself up. Now let's draw a mouth. Top lips come in different shapes. Some look like a bird flying, some look like a smushed M. Some are plump, some are thin. Bottom lips are mostly shaped like a smile. So that we have an elongated face, you'll want to draw your lips towards the bottom, about here. I would strongly recommend not including teeth on your mouth and just drawing closed lips. You can draw a closed lip by drawing a line across your top and bottom lip. Pause the video if you need more time. Now for a long nose. There are several ways to draw a nose. One easy way is to draw an upside down curvy 7 like this. Or you can draw two long lines with a greater than and less than symbol near the bottom, with some nostrils if you want. Just remember, to be like Modigliani, you should draw a long nose. I'll draw mine now. Here are some other options for nose shape. Pause the video if you need more time. I'll wait. The last parts that need to be sketched are eyebrows and ears. If you want your hair to cover the ears, then you don't need to draw them. But ears are pretty easy to draw. Just a C and a backward C. There's one ear. My hair is covering my other ear. Eyebrows can be simple curved lines above the eyes. Nicely done. Now you can put your pencil away and get your oil pastels ready. Before you start coloring, let's talk about oil pastels and how to use them. They are so much more than just fancy crayons. We are going to be coloring on a black piece of paper, which means you need to add a lot of oil pastel if you don't want a lot of black to show through. More than likely, though, a little black will show through, and that's okay. This doesn't mean that you have to press super hard, though, because we don't want your paper to rip. All you have to do is keep adding color, and then you can gently spread the color with your finger to smooth it out. Then simply use a paper towel to clean off your fingers. If you get little crumbs of color, you can pick them up by pressing the same color of oil pastel into it, and the crumb will stick to it. Just like paints and watercolors, oil pastels can be mixed or blended together to make different colors. Your kit of oil pastels has a lot of colors, but you may want to change them by blending. The best way to blend is to overlap colors, with one huge exception: black. Black doesn't blend very well at all. Where most of you may need to blend is for skin and hair color. I'll show you an example of blending hair color. My hair is brown, but the brown in your kit is a little too red to match my hair. It's a beautiful color, but not the color I want to have on my portrait. Do any of you remember which colors you mixed to get brown? Technically, you mix red, blue, and yellow, but I like using the shortcut of mixing orange and green. When you are blending, put down the darker color first and then add the lighter color. Then use your finger to gently blend the lighter color into the darker one. Be careful that you don't push so hard that you tear your paper. You can use your paper towel to clean off your finger. You can also use your lighter color to blend. To clean that oil pastel, simply wipe it off with your paper towel. So my blending's coming out a little more green than I'd like, so I'll add a little more of this brown. That's the beauty of oil pastels. You can just keep blending until you get the color you like. Oh yeah, I'm liking this brown. I'm adding just a little bit more blue. I'm getting a brown that I like. Hopefully those few tips might help as you're going to color your portrait. Now before you start with your oil pastels, let's flip a paper over and neatly write our names on the back in a light color. Now flip your paper back over and using your black pastel, trace the lines of your sketch, not the dotted lines, but the lines of your face, hair, eyes, nose, mouth, neck, and shirt. Did I forget anything? Those will be your outlines for your picture. I've redone my sketch onto black paper, and it may be hard to see my black lines on the paper, but I promise they are there. Go ahead and trace your lines with black. I'm kind of using this side of my oil pastel to get a little bit thinner of a line. And my eyes are pretty small, so I'm going to leave out the detail, just the outline. Pause the video, I'll wait. Now this is a very important thing to listen to. Remember when I said that black doesn't blend well? That kind of goes for dark brown and other darker colors as well. So if your hair is black or dark brown, or you want to include some darker colors on your portrait, you'll want to do that at the very end. Anything you want to be light, if your hair is a light color like blonde, or you want a light colored shirt, or you have a lighter complexion of your skin, you'll want to do those areas first. My hair is darker brown, so I'll save my hair for last. But if your hair is blonde, you should start with it first. Now you guys can watch me color first, or you can color along with me. Either way. I will start with my face and then my background. For my face, I'm using this peach color with a little yellow and using my finger to blend the colors. When you're blending, make sure your fingers are clean. Just wipe them off on your paper towel. You can also clean your oil pastel by wiping it on the paper towel. I may add a little pink, as the peach color certainly appears quite white on the black paper. When I'm going over the line of my nose, I'm careful to go around the side of it, but I want to be really careful not to blend over it, otherwise I'll end up with just a big black smudge. A little lighter pink. And I can go over with some peach. Just kind of blend, find out what colors I like. Just being super careful that I'm not smudging or mixing with those black lines too much. Nice thing is if you make a little mistake, you can just go over it with a little bit of color. I kind of didn't like how the color of that yellow looked too much, so I'm just taking some of it out. I want a little more color here, a little less black of the paper, so I just add a little bit more as I go. Oops, forgot my forehead. Make sure I get this. You can always come back to it and make changes as you want to and blend the colors. Okay, there's my face. Now I'll do my neck because that's pretty much the same color as my face. I kind of wiped away my chin line there, so I just go in and add it back. There we go. Great. Oh, and now my ear. Remember, my hair's going to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to do my background first. I'm going to do some purples and blues. Might throw some whites in there. Yeah, let's start with that. Let's see what we come up with. When you color your background, make sure you go all the way to the edge. Just kind of going through, and wherever I didn't get my blue, I'm putting a little purple. You could do this with any colors you wanted. I kind of actually like how this black coming through a little bit gives it a little dimension. And then I'm holding down here, just kind of keeping my paper steady as I gently blend, trying to be careful around my black lines. Then if I wanted to lighten some of these places up, I could just kind of add little streaks of white. And blend those in too. You don't always have to do straight lines. You could always kind of do curls. See if you like what that does after you blend. Kind of gives a little different texture to things. That might be a good idea in hair. That's the fun thing about this, is that every picture you do could be slightly different. I like how that turned out. I like that background. Nice. All right, clean off your fingers. I've done a lot of cool colors here, so maybe my shirt needs to be a little bit on the warmer side. So I go red, or maybe I'll kind of go a yellowy green for my shirt. Kind of a cool, green is more of a cool color, but with that yellow it warms it up a little bit. You could decide to do a stripe in there if you wanted, anything you wanted. Kind of like the idea of my shirt being all one color, since I blended so much here and blended so much in the background. I think I'll just stick with this one color. Alright, so now I'm going to go to my hair. Before I do my eyes and my mouth, I'm going to go to my hair. So remember, I wanted to kind of make it a little brown. And what worked when I practiced it before was to add a little bit of green, and then add some of this, and then kind of, believe it or not, add a little blue. So I'm just going to go with super light green. And I'm going to add super light of this and see if I like that, how that changes the brown. Oh yeah, I like that brown a lot better. So I'm using the brown in your kit with the dark green, and it's going to make it a little less of a red brown and more of just a kind of a brown brown. If your hair is a darker brown, you don't have to completely cover the black, because the black will naturally just kind of darken it up a little bit. Lucky you guys. Those of you with light colored hair, similar to my face, are going to have to work a little bit longer and harder if you don't want a lot of that black to show through. Yeah, I'm liking how that brown color's turning out. I'm going to keep going with that. And this is where you could use some of those swirls to add a little texture if you didn't want it to all be, like if you have a little curl in your hair. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but you could certainly try it on your paper. I'm just kind of making squiggly lines instead of just coloring all the time. I'm still blending, and I still want to make sure there's enough, but... Nice! Hair's all done. I really want to get my fingers very clean. Now, using oil pastels in small areas is kind of hard. The best way I've found it is to use little dots and then use my pinky to blend. I'll do this for my lips. I'll start with red, and then to make it a little lighter, I'll add little dots of white and then blend again. You can always use your edge to color as well. Kind of make my black line a little smaller by adding a little white around my lips. Yeah, not the best lips, but they look alright. You can tell they're lips anyway, they certainly aren't feet. Remember when I talked about the eyes and told you that it was up to you to put detail in them? I'll try and put detail in mine and see how it goes, but I may just end up blending them into one color. So I'll start with the white part called the sclera first. If you make a mistake, an easy thing to do, like I don't like that white there, you just scratch it off with your finger. And that's why in some ways you start with your lighter color first, because then you can always cover it up. With white, see how I got a little black on there? Definitely make sure you clean it off. Alright, well that looks alright. Now for the colored part called your iris. I'm going to use that dot technique again so I can blend a little blue and green for my eyes. And I'll just leave a little black dot in the middle, or we can add a black dot at the end. That's a pretty easy thing to do. So I'm just dotting on the blue. And I'll add a little green. Let's make sure it's clean. Actually, I don't need to blend that much. That looks pretty good. And then I'll just carefully put a little black dot in the middle. Oh, that turned out really good. But again, if I didn't like how my eyes, I could blend them all into one color, and that would still be very similar to how Modigliani did his. So just for giggles, I'll blend my eyes so you can see what it might look like if you decided to do that for yourself. Still looks very similar to how Modigliani did his portraits, with just kind of the plain eyes without details. So what do you think? Are you all mini Modiglianis? Try and say that 5 times fast. Now it's time to clean up. Collect all of your oil pastels and place them in the baggie and put them in your art kit bag. Then carefully fold up your brown paper and put it back into your art kit to be used for another project. And then when your teacher says it's time, hand in your art kit, hand in your portrait, Clean up your desk and wash your hands. I hope you had fun.